Okay, so now we start with the structure of internal ear. We know that it is very complicated structure. It is also known as labyrinth, particularly bony labyrinth. Now, why is it known as bony labyrinth? First of all, now this internal ear is located somewhere over here. We know that here lies the temporal bone. So there are some folded cavities inside the temporal bone, which we call it as bony labyrinth. So remember that the internal ear is called as labyrinth. So first point, this is the structure of internal ear, which is also called as labyrinth. It is also called as labyrinth. Now, next is what? What does internal ear consist of? Internal ear consists of three main structures, that is semicircular ducts. Second one is vestibule. So first is semicircular ducts, second is vestibule, and the third one is known as the cochlea. So these three structures are included in the internal ear. Now let us talk first about the semicircular ducts. In some of the book, it is written as semicircular canals. Okay. Now you can see in the diagram that there are three semicircular canals. So how are they arranged? One is arranged on the posterior side, so it is located on the back side. The another one is located on the side, so it is lateral, and one is in the front. So there are three semicircular canals, remember? Anterior, posterior, and the lateral one on the side. So 1, 2 and 3. And it has a broad opening, we call it as ampulla. What do we call it as? Ampulla. In biology, with generally any opening is called as ampulla. Something broad opening. Okay. Now, these ampulla has three sensory spots. So each ampulla possesses one sensory spot. So 3 ampulla are there. So 3 ampulla possesses 3 sensory spots respectively, and this sensory spot is known as crista. In your book it is mentioned as crista ampullaris. What does it mention as? Crista ampullaris. Now let us understand how does this crista ampullaris looks like. So this crista ampullaris has an oval structure this way. It has got an oval structure. This is how it looks. In this oval structure, it has got some cells like this. And each of the cell possesses hair cells. So hairs are coming out from here. Just like this. So this is what I am drawing is crista. These are hairs which are known as stereocilia. Stereocilia. I'll draw this hairs one again over here. These cells next to that hair cells are known as supporting cells. Supporting cells. These are known as hair cells. What does hair cells bear? Hair cell bears this stereocilia this way. And just beneath the hair cells, there comes out nerves this way. And these nerves will go to the brain and sense the rotational motion. And while we are in a rotation, it will keep our body in a equilibrium. So this crista, or you can call it even as crista ampullaris, okay, has bare hair cells, supporting cells and nerves, and its function is to sense rotational motion or rotation and and impart equilibrium. And impart equilibrium. So if suppose a question is asked that when we are under a rotational motion, or when we are rotating round and round, which is the body structure that is giving us an equilibrium, which does not let us fall down, then it is nothing but the crista ampularis, which is located in a broad opening of the three semicircular ducts, which are also known as semicircular canals. So how many crista ampularis are there? Remember, there are 3. So 3 sensory spots are present. Now we will switch to the next, that is vestibule. Now vestibule is a bag-like structure. Here you can see like this. This vestibule has 2 windows. One larger window, you call it as a tricule, and one smaller window, we call it as saccule. Easy to remember, smaller S, saccule, and larger is the atricule. Now saccule is the smaller window, I'll write over here, and atricule is the larger window. Now both this window has a sensory spot, and the sensory spot is called as macula. So how many macula are present in each ear? If you have got one atricule and one saccule, so macula of atricule and macula of saccule. So how many macula are present? There are 2 maculas are present. Macula is also called as otolith organ. It is also known as otolith organ. And these otolith organ would appear something like this. It will bear ear stones, which are called otoliths. So these are ear stones. And what is this ear stones comprising of? It is made up of calcium carbonate and proteins. These ear stones are also called as otoliths. So otoliths or the ear stones. Just beneath that, it bears hairs which are distributed in different length, and there are hair cells present of 2 different shapes. One is thin and another one is the bulged shape. So these are the hair cells. You can call these hairs again as stereocilia, and these are known as hair cells. And just beneath that comes out the nerves. So this is the structure of otolith organ, or you can call it as the macula. How many macula? Remember 2. What does it comprises of? It comprises of otoliths, which are known as ear stones, made up of calcium carbonate and proteins, bears stereocilia, and 4 kind of hair cells arranged in a row. Now what is its function? Now when we are in a linear equilibrium, or when we are standing and we are just bending down, so whenever the body changes its position, like when we bend down or vertically we bend down, so at that point these hair cells moves and denotes the brain about the movement so that we don't fall down. Or we can say that linear equilibrium, or you can say the static equilibrium. Linear equilibrium is maintained by this otolith organ. So the function is what? To sense vertical movement and equilibrium. So, whether it is semicircular ducts and its structure is cresta ampularis or it is macula, both together functions for body equilibrium, and together they are known as vestibular apparatus. Remember this, it is important. So what is vestibular apparatus? Crista ampularis and this otolith organ are known as vestibular apparatus, whose function is to maintain the body equilibrium. After this, now we will be studying about the next, that is the hearing organ, and we call it as cochlea. So here we start with the structure, internal ear, and here in internal ear we'll be talking about the structure called cochlea. First of all, from where does the word comes cochlea? So cochlea comes from the Greek word, and that means shell of a snail. So here it appears like a shell of a snail. Remember that it is having two labyrinth. We know that the outer is the bony labyrinth, and inside it encloses one more labyrinth, that is what you call it as bony labyrinth. So if you understand about the labyrinth structure, so it is completely called as bony labyrinth. Now how does it appears? Inside this there is a membranous labyrinth. It goes this way. This is how it goes. So if we talk about these two labyrinths, how do they appear? Let us talk about the cross-sectional part of this much area. Let us talk about this. So there are four membranes you can see. So if I talk about the membranous labyrinth and the bony labyrinth, there is an outer labyrinth. This is what you call it as bony labyrinth. That is the folds of temporal bone. Inside this, there is membranous labyrinth. Now, inside the bony labyrinth, there is a fluid, we call it as perilymph. And inside the membranous labyrinth, there is another fluid, we call it as perilymph. Remember, bony labyrinth, membranous labyrinth. Inside bony labyrinth, there is a perilymph. Inside membranous labyrinth, there is an endolymph. Endolymph means the innermost. Okay. So now if we talk about the cross section of this cochlear tube, it will be appearing something like this. And so this is this outer area. Then I'll draw one more line. It would be like this. And then I'll be drawing one more line. It will be like this. So this outer is this bony labyrinth. This inner is the membranous labyrinth. Okay? Again I'll come down. Here is the membranous labyrinth because inner it whole covers a membrane. So it is also known as a membranous labyrinth here. And here it comes again a bony labyrinth, because this is a whole round structure. It's again I am telling you, explaining you. Suppose if you take it like this, this is the bony labyrinth, this is the membranous labyrinth. Here is the perilymph, and inside this is the endolymph. So anyways, the membranous labyrinth divides the cochlea into 3 chambers. If you see the internal section of the cochlea or the cochlear tube, this is known as scala vestibuli. The upper chamber is known as scala vestibuli. The lower chamber is known as scala tympani, and this middle chamber is known as scala media. Remember, this is important. It is known as scala media. Now, so according to this concept, between the bony labyrinth and the membranous labyrinth, which will be the fluid present? The fluid that is present in the scala vestibuli will be perilymph. From here, bony and membranous. So, bony and membranous, it will be perilymph. Again, bony and membranous. So, here also there would be perilymph. And here there would be endolymph. Now, this inside this there is a presence of hearing organ, which we call it as organ of Corti. Remember, very important, it is known as organ of Corti, found by Alfonso Corti. Found by Alfonso Corti. And this organ of Corti is known as hearing organ. Each ear bears this tube-like structure, and inside this one whole canal there is one organ of Corti distributed in the whole canal. So if it is asked that each ear bears how many organ of Corti, you need to remember it is only one. So, and where is organ of Corti particularly present in the cochlear tube? It is present in the middle zone, which we call it as scala media, separated by membranous labyrinth. And from here comes out the auditory nerves. Now we will study in detail about this much structure. That is, now we will study about the only section we call it as a scala media. Now we start with the structure of organ of Corti, which is present in the scala media, that is the middle chamber of cochlea. So let's start with organ of Corti. Now, what is this organ of Corti? It is the hearing organ present in the cochlea. Now, this, if we talk about, we know that we have seen the transverse section of cochlea this way, separated by 3 chambers. Right now, I will be just focusing upon this portion, that is scala media. Now, in the scala media, so this is scala tympani, this is scala vestibuli, separated by this membranous labyrinth. Now this upper membrane here is called as Rayner's membrane. What is it called? Raciner's membrane. Whereas the lower membrane, this is called as basilar's membrane. What you have to remember is the roof is R stands for Raciner's membrane, and the lower part is known as the basilar's membrane, or the basal part is known as the basilar membrane. And what lies in between? In between lies the scala media. So this is what you call it as scala media. Which lymph does it has? We have done it in the previous topic. It possesses endolymph. Which lymphs does this has? This has got perilymph. This has also got the perilymph. Now, inside the scala media, there is a membrane enclosed this way. And this membrane is called pectoral membrane. It is known as pectoral membrane. And here are certain cells, some long cells, some short cells. This way, some cells are present over here, which bear hairs. Some of them bear hairs, and hairs are embedded in the pectoral membrane. So hairs are present in the pectoral membrane. So this are hairs, and the cells from which the hair develops are known as hair cells. These hair cells are embedded in which membrane? These are embedded in pectoral membrane. So, like suppose if these are the hairs, let's say these two pins are hairs, and this is the membrane, so they are embedded inside this. So whenever the membrane moves, the hairs also will move this way. Okay. From this hair cells comes out the nerves. Comes out the nerves. That. Let us draw with another pen. This way. So these are the nerves coming out from which cells? These are coming out from the hair cells. And which are these nerves called? These are known as auditory nerves. And this hair cells of organ of Corti is supported by the another kind of cells, and these are known as supporting cells. So you can see these are hair cells with hairs. You can see these are hair cells, which are on the lower side supported by other cells, and these are known as supporting cells. Now supporting cells are differentiated into two types according to their shape, and they are, the first is the pillar cells. Why do we call it as pillar? Because they are long in size. Whereas the another cells are known as phalangeal cells. Phalangeal cells because they are like fingers, short. So these are the two kind of supporting cells which supports the hair cells present in the organ of Corti. Remember that the organ of Corti is present in scala media, which possesses endolymph. You need to remember this, because whatever sound waves produces the vibration, it moves the endolymph of the scala media, which moves this pectoral membrane, which will move these hairs of hair cells. And these movement of hair cells is detected by auditory nerves, and this is how we hear, this is how we listen. So this is about the organ of Corti. Remember, organ of Corti possesses pectoral membrane, hair cells and supporting cells. Now let us begin the last topic of this topic, that is external ear, and we will now be discussing about mechanism of hearing, and that is how do we hear. So the sound waves are focused from the external ear, that is from pinna to the auditory meatus. So it goes here to the auditory meatus, and then it will vibrate the tympanic membrane. So here this tympanic membrane will vibrate, which will in turn leads to the beating of ear ossicles. So it will beat the ear ossicles. We also know that these ear ossicles, among which the stapes is connected to the oval window, that is fenestra ovalis. So I will write the sequence over here. Sound waves will go to pinna, that is we will write external ear. From pinna to the meatus, that is external meatus, from where it goes to tympanic membrane. From tympanic membrane it goes to ear ossicles, and particularly stapes will move the fenestra ovalis, that is the oval window, off, and then it will go to the cochlea, which is the bony labyrinth, or we can say which is the internal most part. So here, and then I will draw the cochlea. So it would be something like this. So it goes to cochlea. After it goes to cochlea, in cochlea, it goes to scala media. And then the vibration which has been gone over here, because this middle ear will amplify the sound for 20 times and will push the vibration towards the inner side. So it will go to the middle chamber, that is known as scala media. Once it goes to the scala media of this cochlea, there is a movement of endolymph. So endolymph moves inside this, which in turn will move the pectoral membrane of organ of Corti. Or we can directly write that it will be transmitted to the organ of Corti. In organ of Corti, it will move the pectoral membrane, which will move the hair cells, and these hair cells, the movement of hair cells is detected by the auditory nerves. These auditory nerves will go to the particular area of the brain, and the sound gets analyzed, processed, and this is how we hear. Just a quick revision. Sound waves focus to the pinna. From the pinna it goes to the auditory meatus. From here it goes to the tympanic membrane. The vibration of tympanic membrane will move the ear ossicles. It will amplify the sound for 20 times. Then it is connected, the stapes is connected to the fenestra ovalis. Fenestra ovalis will move to the cochlea, it will move the scala media endolymph. This endolymph will be creating the vibrations in organ of Corti. Particularly the pectoral membrane will move, inside which the hair cells are connected, so hair cells will move. And we also have seen that the hair cells are connected with the auditory nerves, which will carry the impulse to the brain where the sound is analyzed. So this is all about the mechanism of hearing.